Hey guys, how are you doing? This is Zeb from Zed Outdoors and I hope you're having an awesome day. So in this video, I am back to see a good buddy of mine, David Friars. And what we're going to be doing is continuing on a mini series that we're doing where I'm going to be visiting David moving forward as I normally do. And what we're going to be looking at is all the many different packs that he uses from different makers. But more importantly, we're going to look at how he actually organizes his kit into those respective packs. If you're not familiar with David already, he makes a modular bushcraft system that he makes all by hand to a very high standard. I'm actually in the process myself of incorporating a lot of David's pouches and his philosophy into the way I pack my own gear. I've actually done a very detailed video beforehand showing you firsthand kind of like his system in of itself. And what we're going to be looking at in this video, how he packs a Karrimor SF Sabre 45 litre, is actually a backpack I have myself that I use predominantly to kind of more for overnighters and longer trips. And what we're going to be doing, as well as me seeing for the first time, how he actually packs that particular backpack with his pouch system, but also this translates into any packs that you use. So what you're going to be doing is seeing how he packs his system in a very efficient manner, and also some nuances with the way he's actually got a specific side pouches on his SF Sabre that I've not actually seen before. So what we're going to do in this video is kind of seeing how he packs this pack in particular, but also hopefully give you some ideas in terms of how you can incorporate his pouches or pouches you're using currently to organize your own system. So without further ado, hope you enjoy the rest of this video.
All right, here we go.
How you doing, David?
Yeah, not too bad, mate.
Excellent stuff. So what are we looking at today then?
This is the Karrimor 45 SF. And I know you've got one, you brought yours down, so I thought I'd bring my one down and sort of show you how I've got it set up. Now I'll just chuck this rucksack on so you can see what the size of it. It's a 45 litre rucksack, but it's got the Karrimor 3 pouch system on each one. Instead of using sort of the rocket pouches, it's got the Karrimor, so it's like 1 large and 2 small pouches. But I'll just chuck it on so you can just sort of get a gist of the size. So it's not a big rucksack, 45 litres, I suppose 55 with the side purchase, but as you can see, you know, it's not something, you know, I actually do use it quite a lot as a day pack, but I've loaded it up with a sort of, you know, for 2 nights set up. And it's a really comfortable pack, you know, and they're very popular. But yeah, let's have a look inside it. So what I'll do first, I'll go through the side pouches and see how I've got them set up. So for me, this is water either side, so I always have at least 2 litres of water. So got one side there which has got it's got a Nalgene bottle with cup and bow arm and lid, and also I keep in here is the little bug stove. Which, you know, they sell them on Ramir's site and they're a cracking bit of kit. So I normally put my mess burner in there, or I can have a fire in there as well, so I've got both options. So that's on one side. On the other side, I have my titanium heavy cover canteen kit, and that just sits in there perfectly. And that's got a spoon in there as well and a fork, so, and that's that in there. Now the interesting bit I wanted was these 4 pouches on the top here, because there's 4 pouches I normally keep in my system. Would be a brew kit, so that'd have a pouch for that. I'd have a toiletries and first aid kit combined. I'd have a fire kit and also a possibles kit where I've got, you know, all sorts in there, so I can just go through them quickly to show you. So I have actually designed them for these pouches, so they fit in there perfect, and they're just organised. This would be a brew kit, so I'll have all my sort of teas and coffees and powdered milk and sugar and all that in there, and so they fit in there lovely. So that's one. This is my toiletry kit and a first aid kit, and all I did was condense the pouches I had and just took out elements what I needed. And to be honest, most of it fitted inside one of these, so you can pack it down quite small. The other side. Fat wood, this is a fire kit, fat wood and instant fire, all various forms of starting a fire. And the last one be possibles. Well, I've got some fire lighting, compass, head torch, I've even got a Leatherman in there, and a few other bits and pieces. So, and these are all easy accessible. And what it does, it takes out the space inside the actual bag itself. Seat mat slips down the side there because they've got these little side pockets that go all the way down. And on the other side, I've got a folding saw. So to go with the folding saw, I've got an axe on the outside of the rucksack. I could have put it inside, depending where you're going. You know, sometimes you can get away with it on the outside. So just a Granfer Sprux axe. Right, on the lid, you can get quite a lot inside the lid. I've got a couple of leather gloves. I have my canvas mat, which I'll hopefully will have some of these in stock soon. Just trying to get hold of the material. And this one's a couple of years old and it's still going strong. Next up, I've got my toolkit, which is my knife, a saw and a sharpen system all wrapped up in there. And the only other thing is I've got a small grill, which I keep up there as well. Well, it's a new product coming out soon. So yeah, so that's the outside, that's the lid. So let's get into the inside of it. In the top lid, I've got some a bandana and some toilet tissues, so that stays up there. And you can see, you know, this is not fully loaded. There's plenty of space in this pack as well. So yeah, there's loads of space still in there. So first off, you generally want to get your tarp out. So this is the Australian Oscam tarp, which I've got in there at the moment. If it was really winter time, I wouldn't use this one because it's summer. You know, the weather's been pretty good. You know, this is fine.
How big is that tarp?
Oh God, I think it's like 2.5 by, don't know, under 2.
Right.
So it could be, yeah, it might be just under 3 metres, but yeah, it's around that sort of size. It's not massive. It's quite long, but it's not that wide. So that's my tarp. Next up, in here I've just got some wool hat, some gloves, and a neck scarf. Just always handy to have. Doesn't matter what time of year, even if it's in the summertime, winter time. It's always handy to have some just some gloves and hat. Now, this is me pot. I could have gone for a smaller pot. I could have gone for a 12cm zebra. To be honest, I didn't even have to take this because I've got my heavy cover cup, and on the other side I've got the other 750ml cup. But sometimes in camp, yeah, it's nice to have something slightly larger to cook a stew or whatnot in. And inside there, I've got a Trangier burner, which then obviously works with the little bug stove.
And that's the stove you've made for the Trangier, right?
What's this? The stove?
Yeah, no, yeah, the pouch for it.
Yeah, the pouch. Yeah. So this is the Trangier pouch, which is, you know, it's a nice little item to keep it contained. You know, so I always keep the Trangier though in a plastic bag in there as well, because you always get a bit of meths coming out every now and again. You know, because of unless you're going to burn the meths off, which I don't really like to do. Or leave it out where it evaporates. I always put it in a bag just in case. Not that it's going to do you any harm, but...
And that's the Moors bush pot?
Yeah, that's the Moors pot. and that's part of the system. Now the bags I normally make are not like this. This is one I'm just mucking around with at the moment, testing it out. The normal one is the drawstring bag, works great, but it's just a system I like experimenting with and try around with and see how they work. But yeah, that's the pot. Next up is a food bag. Now these I use them as a food bag. It's like a dry bag, but they're not. The material's waterproof, but obviously the stitching's not. So, but I use it as a food bag, and it's basically a roll top bag with a square bottom, which then fits with the system, with a Velcro top lid on it. And I've got sort of plenty of food in there, and snacks and treats. And the beauty of this, if you was going away for, I don't know, 2-3 nights, you can pack enough food in there. And as the food goes down, all you're doing is just rolling the bag up. So I use it as a food bag, and I think pretty popular as food bags. Right, next up. Now this is a product I'm mucking around with as well. It's just a coffee pouch, and fresh coffee pouch. So if you like your coffee, it fits in there nicely. I've designed it. You can get 2 packs in there as well, and you just roll it up. And when I sort of come up with an idea of a product to go with the system, I don't just make it and sell it. I like to try, make sure it works and does everything, and then you can muck around with it and change it a little bit more if you need to. But for the last month or so I've been using these, and it works really well, so I think it's going to be a go at that one. And the next thing is the frying pan pouch, or bag. It's basically just keeps your frying pan from getting the rest of your gear all dirty. And in there I've got that's a Trangier plate, but works really well, because I always find that if you've got a frying pan, if you can form some sort of lid for the frying pan, even if it's something like that, if you're cooking anything that maybe needs a bit of steam in there to cook better, a lid is a good thing to have. So chicken or sausages or that sort of thing, just chuck the lid on that, and it just cooks in there and steams. And that's a heavy cover titanium frying pan, so that's pretty lightweight. And to be honest, because the Moore's pot is anodised alloy, it's actually quite a light pot as well. But that's the pouch. And these pouches normally fit most frying pans up to 20 centimetres. The GSI, which is quite a big pan, that fits in there as well. So the Trangier ones, the Pathfinder ones, all fit inside these bags quite nicely. So then the next off we've got the sleep mat. So this is just the Thermarest sleep mat, quite light, fits in there quite nicely. So we know what they are. To go with, because I could have put a bivvy bag in there, but I've gone for this bug net. So I'd have the tarp up, but I'd use this bug net just because this time of year, and mosquitoes, they love me. They want to bite me all the time. So if I didn't have the bug net, I'd wake up with bites all over me. But this is just a lightweight bug net, which I'll put that straight down the ground, and it hangs up part of the ridge line of your tarp. So that's cool. And then obviously you put your sleep mat inside there. Then next up, just a sleeping bag. This is like a 2 to 3 season sleeping bag, mountain equipment one I think it is. And for this time of year, it's perfect. So that's the sleeping bag.
What dry bag is that?
That's an Alp Kit one. Now I've had these Alp Kit ones for years, and for the money and for what they are, I don't know what they're like now, but when I originally got them, they weren't a lot of money, but they're quite strong. To be honest, for me, that's a bit too heavy for a sleeping bag, dry bag, because it's a bit too bulky. I'd normally, like to use something a bit thinner and a bit lighter, but, it does a job. Then, right at the bottom, spare clothes. So this is just a bag with just some spare clothes in it, some thermals, smart wool top. That's a really warm sort of top, so that will keep me warm. I suppose we've got some socks in there, and other little bits and pieces. I've even got my old down hat in there for winter time, or even in the summer. Sometimes I put a hat on my head. So, and that's all my spare clothes and everything goes in there. Obviously you'd have a jacket, you know, but you'd either be wearing a jacket, but you obviously can chuck it to the outside of the rucksack. And one last thing which is in this back sleeve is TGM Metalworks throw down grill, just a small one. So, you know, if you've got a small fire, just chuck that on the top, and you can put your frying pan or your billy can on top of that, and for the weight and size of it, you know, you don't even know you've got it in your rucksack. So that's all of it really, and it will fit it inside there with space, no problem at all, and I'll be comfortable with that.
Because like I mentioned earlier, you know, obviously you know I have the SF Sabre as well,
yeah,
but I don't have these, you know, separate side pouches.
Yeah, yeah.
I have more the kind of rocket pouch.
Yeah, the big,
kind of big dumper.
Yeah.
So as soon as I saw your picture on Instagram a few weeks ago, I was like, what's that? I've not seen that before.
But then putting them in the outside of here saves it from being inside the rucksacks, then gives you more space. You know, so yes, you could put them in the rocket side pouch, which is fine, but I like the idea of just, I want that, I'll just grab that, it's there and it's organised for me. I like it because the water is either side, so I know where the water is, and you know, it's all accessible quite easy. And what I would do, if I was like hiking somewhere, I'd take the Trangia burner out of the billy can, just put it in the top lid. So if I just wanted to brew as I'm going along, I'd open up the little bug stove, either put the titanium one or this cup on there and cook some noodles and a brew as I'm going along. So yeah, that's the, I'll smarten it up in a minute and you can have a look at it. It looks a bit of a jumble fair, but then we'll chuck it all back in again.
Mr. Friars.
We're ready.
Let's do
pack
this.
this up. So quite easy really. Chuck in our clothes first. Chuck in the sleeping bag and the bug net. So they go in there quite easily. In this side down here, stuff that in. The little lightweight grill. I'll chuck that down the back where sort of you can put a bladder in there, so I'll chuck that in there. Next thing is the frying pan. Because there's this little small void down here, I can put that right in the front there, just there, and it fits in there perfect. Sleep mat goes up against the back or the front, goes in there quite nicely. Next thing, food. Because of the design of the bags that I make, they all fit in there really nicely, maximising all the space. And even if you look in there now, you know, you can see that there's plenty of space in there. Next thing, put a billy can in there. Tarp. And the hat, gloves and neck scarf. That's all nice and secure in there. Right, so what we've got, the side pouches. So because of the shape of the little bug stove, it fits in there quite nicely, taking the form of the pouch, and I can put in my 1 litre water bottle and lid. So there's still space in there, you can put some other bits and pieces in there if you want. On the other side, it again fits in there very easily, and we've got 2 litres water now. we've got our 4 pouches on the outside, so we don't need to go into them, they're just sitting now. Internally, obviously if we wanted to take a few more items out with us, put a waterproof jacket in there, waterproof trousers, we can do that. Next thing, saw. And mat. To be honest, I don't need to bring that mat out with me, but sometimes it's nice when you're kneeling down to have that bit of cushioning. Put our axe on. And what is actually quite good, sometimes you can, just to be sure you don't lose it, you can go across there, and when I cinch it up there, I pull that in. On the top lid we put our tools, another mat, some gloves so they're easy accessible. So I could put my Trangia burner up there as well. Pull this down. So that's all ready to go. So, we're off. I'll see you later.
So there you have it, my friends, that is a wrap for this video. As I mentioned in the very beginning, I have the SF Sabre backpack. I have a different set of side pouches. So when I saw this particular side pouch that David posted on Instagram quite recently, he piqued my curiosity, even more so knowing that obviously he's incorporated his pouch systems into that, as well as obviously making a few custom ones to fit the side panels. So I hope you enjoyed that video. For me, it was really insightful. It's actually the first time I've seen the loadout of the backpack. So now that, as I mentioned, I'm incorporating a lot of David's pouches into my system, it's kind of giving me some good ideas now to say, okay, this is the best way to organize it, this is the best way to lay things out. So what I'm going to do, guys, I'm going to put some links below. I'm going to put a link to David's website. You can find out a lot more about his pouches, kind of what they entail, kind of very detailed photos, etc. I'm also going to put a link to his Instagram. He's very prolific on Instagram, so you can see obviously what he gets up generally day to day in his woodland in Cambridge, as well as obviously details in terms of prototypes as well that he's making with his pouch system. And there's one thing to stress once again, and I did say this already, but this pouch system that David makes fits into any system, okay, fits in any style of backpack. So what this particular video is doing is forming part of an ongoing series that aids my learning and hopefully yours as well, to see kind of ideas and kind of pique your curiosity about how you can organize your gear depending on what backpack you're using. So what I'm going to do, if you haven't seen the previous videos as part of the series, I'll put links below. You can go check that out. And if you look forward to the following videos, we're going to be covering a lot of different backpacks and kind of seeing the best ways to pack them, as well as the way David incorporates his pouch system into that. So guys, hope you enjoyed this video. Really do appreciate you watching. And as always, I hope whatever you're doing, you have a blessed day, a blessed week ahead. This is Zeph from Untitled Outdoors. Peace out.